So you probably clicked on this video for two reasons. One, you know that Instagram stories are the most popular part of the platform, and you know that creating more Instagram stories is an important part of your content strategy. And two, you're a business owner that doesn't really know what to post on your Instagram stories. You figured out how to create faceless content for the feed that works with your brand, but you're just really not sure how to utilize stories without taking a selfie or talking to the camera. Here at Creatorly, we know from our experience with our clients that there are a lot of business owners that either don't feel comfortable being the face of their brand, maybe it doesn't make sense for their brand or their audience, or they just don't feel like their brand needs to have a spokesperson or an influencer associated with it. And that's definitely true. It doesn't make sense for everybody. And while it may seem like the only thing you can do with Instagram stories is hold up your phone, snap a selfie, talk to the camera, there are lots of options for creating fun and engaging content using the stories feature that is going to be really engaging for your audience. So let's get into it without further ado. Here are 5 ideas for things that you can post on your Instagram story as a business owner that doesn't want to show your face on camera. The first thing you can do is convert an existing blog post into a few story slides. This is a highly underrated type of content, but I think it performs so well on stories. People associate stories with just photos and videos, but actually content that's text heavy can perform pretty well. The majority of users are not listening to audio when they watch Instagram stories anyway, and pretty much everybody knows now that you can tap and hold on a slide in order to read lots of content. And while it's really easy to quickly glance over a photo and skip past it, you actually do have to read through line by line of text to know what you're looking at. So think about it this way. You can take a blog post that you have and turn it into a little digital magazine spread, including some text and some imagery. Now, I wouldn't recommend just copy and pasting the entire blog post onto a story. That's going to be too much text. But if you pull out some interesting or kind of noteworthy quotes and you pair them with graphics that make sense, you can even use some stickers in the Instagram story app like GIFs or images from your camera roll to pull this all together. You'll create a couple really informative and high value slides talking about whatever topic was from your blog post. And it also gives you the opportunity to shout out your blog. So if your followers don't know that you're creating this content for them, on the last slide you can say, see more on our website, or whatever you want your call to action to be. You can do this for a blog post. You can also do this for a YouTube video, for a podcast, any kind of really high value long form content that you can create. You can condense it down into a few Instagram story slides where you provide value, share a few quick wins, and then include a little subtle call to action to see the full content. Now, if you're just getting started out and you don't really have a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel, you can find other content creators or other publications, even magazines or whatever, and take content from them, summarize it, maybe add your own spin on it or add your own thoughts or review on that content. And then of course, share the credit, make sure you tell people where it's from. But that's a really great way to create some engaging and high value content for your stories. And you don't necessarily have to be pulling from your own archives to do that. The second idea is to do a series of polls. This is a really great way to connect with your audience, learn a little bit more about them. So it's a very helpful market research hack for you, but it's also just fun and interactive, because when people are asked a question, especially if it's their opinion on something or asking them like how they would kind of describe themselves, these are pretty irresistible for humans, because we're like, yeah, let me tell you what I think. I'll tap on this and I'll see what other people's answers are. I wouldn't do this too often because it can get a bit tiring, but even once a week, if you want to throw a few polls out there asking questions based on, other relevant content that you've been creating or how your audience feels about news in your industry. All this requires is either a blank background that's like a solid color, or you can pull in stock photos or other brand photos that kind of make sense for you to be the background, throw a poll over top of it, and you are good to go. The third idea is to promote your latest post. If you've got new content on the feed or IGTV or Reels, it's a really great idea to share that to your story to give it a little bit more reach and also to keep your stories active, especially if you are using strategies to make really shareable content for your feed, like tweet graphics or reels or whatever. This is the kind of content that people like to see in stories anyway, because as I was saying in previous videos, people come to Instagram and they pretty much start tapping through stories right away. So chances are they haven't seen your feed content yet. So sharing it to your stories is a really great way to make sure that it gets the attention that it deserves and then doesn't just kind of die off and never be seen again over on your feed. But the one thing I do want to say about this tip is don't just straight up share it to your story. Maybe if it's a tweet graphic and it kind of speaks for itself, that makes sense. But if you're sharing a reel or some other kind of image, it's a great opportunity to share a little bit of behind the scenes, ask your followers their thoughts on it. One of my favorite things to do is to share a reel and then have either a slider or a poll that says like, can you relate? Or, does this feel familiar to you or whatever? And so you're sharing content, but you're also getting that interaction. So think about how you can share content from your other places on Instagram and then add a little bit more in your stories. The fourth idea is to make a quiz about some content that you've provided before or just a general interest topic for your audience or niche. You can use the quiz sticker and you can create, again, a series of different slides, kind of like we did with the poll, but this time you're asking your audience questions about something that they are probably interested in, maybe that they've seen before. You could promote your latest podcast or blog post and say, check this out on the following slides. I'm going to ask you some questions about it. Let's see how many you can get correct. People love doing quizzes like this because it's a way to kind of test their knowledge. They can see if they're correct. And it's just something that brings them out of that monotonous tapping through stories, so many of which are just images and videos without any interactivity. So think about what you could create a quiz on, and again, maybe throw that into your rotation once a week, every other week, that kind of thing. And I promise that your followers will have fun with it. Finally, number 5 is to do a Q&A. You can start this off by, again, using a stock photo or a blank color background and throwing that question box on there and asking your followers what they would like to know. This is a really great opportunity to share more of your expertise, provide free value, and also get to know what kind of questions your followers and potential customers have. This is a great market research tool once again. I think this is something that so many business owners overlook, is creating interactive content on Instagram is not just about creating content for the sake of it, but it can be a great way to connect further with your community, get to know what they need and how you can serve them better. So again, ask for those question submissions after, maybe an hour or so. You can go back in. If you go to view your story and then make sure that you tap where you can see who's viewed your story. At the top there, it's going to populate with all the questions that have been submitted. From there, you can tap on the question and then make a story responding to it. Normally what I would do is just quick snap a picture and then tap on a color and tap and hold on the background, and that'll make the background one solid color. So then again, you don't have to be sharing selfies or whatever. Or you can bring in images from your camera roll as your background image and then just type out your response. I find this is one of the most engaging forms of content on Instagram because most people, when they're going through, even if they're not going to submit a question themselves, they'll be really curious to see what other people asked and what your responses were. And the added benefit to this is you can add these all to a highlight later called FAQ or something like that. So if people come to your profile, they can tap through that highlight and get to know your brand and business a little bit better. So you might just be saving yourself having to re-answer these questions in the future by using this method. And of course, it gives you some really interactive and engaging content for your Instagram story. So now that you've got 5 ideas for Instagram stories you can make without having to show your face or take any photos or videos of yourself at all, you should have no problem posting on stories every weekday, which is what I would recommend. That would be the ideal. I know it's not always attainable, especially as a busy business owner. I'm sure you've got lots of other things going on. And if that is the case and you're looking for help with your Instagram, we would love to help you. So check out the link in the description, go to Creatorly Media's website, and you can work with me and my team on generating Instagram content for your profile because we would love to help you out. If you found this video helpful, then you are not going to want to miss our future ones, so make sure you subscribe and also check out this video next. It's everything you need to know about the most recent changes to the Instagram algorithm, so go check it out. leave me a comment over there letting me know that you came from this video, and I can't wait to chat. As always, thank you so much for watching, and keep on creating. Bye.